Hello everyone. Today we will discuss one of the most important topic of thorax, that is thoracic duct. Now first of all, let's talk about its extension. First of all, in the diagram, as you can see, this is a thoracic duct. The location of thoracic duct is this. It extends from the upper border of the abdomen to the lower border of the neck, crossing the posterior and superior part of mediastinum. So this green part, this green thing is the thoracic duct in this diagram. Now its appearance. It is about 45 cm long and it has a beaded appearance. Why? Because it has many valves in it. So it appears like beads. Now its course. Now to understand the course of thoracic duct, first of all let's go through a diagram first. Okay, in this diagram, this is the thoracic duct. This portion. Okay, now here there will be T12 vertebra, thoracic number 12 vertebra, and this is the T5 thoracic vertebra. T12 to T5. Now this blue colored thing is the azygous vein. This is the accessory hemiazygous vein, a tributary of azygous vein, and this is the hemiazygous vein, again tributary of azygous vein. This is the descending thoracic aorta. This is the esophagus. This is a branch of superior vena cava. Superior vena cava actually has main two branches, right and left brachiocephalic vein. Now the brachiocephalic vein further divides into two branches, subclavian vein and the internal jugular vein. So this is that portion. Okay, now let's start with the course. Now the thoracic duct begins as upper end of cisterna chyle near the lower border of T12 vertebra and enters the thorax through the aortic opening in the diaphragm. Now it ascends to the posterior medium from T12 to T5 thoracic vertebra, crossing right to the left side. Now then it ascends through the superior mediastinum where it crosses the left edge of the esophagus and reaches the neck. Now in the neck region, it arches laterally at C7 transverse process, means cervical number 7 vertebra and that to transverse process of it, and ascends at the first part of left subclavian and ends at the junction between the left internal jugular vein and the left subclavian vein. So from T12 it goes up straight until T5, then it goes from right to the left side, then ascends from the left side of the esophagus, then arches laterally and then ends in a junction between the left internal jugular vein and the left subclavian vein. So if you will go through a diagram, you will easily remember the course. Now for relations also, just remember the diagram, you will remember most of the things. Now for the aortic opening relation, at the aortic opening, just look at somewhat over here. Anteriorly there will be diaphragm, posteriorly vertebral column, in the right side azygous vein clearly visible, and on the left side there will be aorta. In the posterior mediastinum, for this look at somewhat here. At the anterior portion you have mainly three things: right pleural recess, esophagus and diaphragm. But in the diagram these three things are not shown, okay, because in diagram you can't draw the anterior portion. So just remember the mnemonics rod: right pleural recess, esophagus and diaphragm. Just remember the mnemonics. For the posterior part we have vertebral column, one artery and one vein. Artery is right posterior intercostal artery and the vein is the terminal part of hemiazygous vein. For this you can remember the mnemonics VRT, right. For the right part azygous vein and for the left part descending thoracic aorta. Now in the superior mediastinum, for this look at this portion. Anteriorly there will be arch of aorta and the origin of subclavian vein. In the posterior there will be vertebral column. In the right side esophagus, as you can see, and in the left side there will be pleura. Okay, now in the neck. In the neck region there are many things, so I'll tell you the trick to remember the relations over in the neck. Okay, now in the anterior relation we have mainly three things. All the three are left only, and you can remember by the mnemonics VAN, V V-A-N, vein, artery and nerve. Vein is the internal jugular vein, artery is the common carotid artery, and the nerve is the vagus nerve. So all the three things are left and V-A-N. This was a trick to remember the anterior part. Okay. Now for the posterior part, we have many things to remember. So just remember the main things, that is muscle, fascia, 3 arteries, 1 vein, and 2 nerves. Okay, so you will remember the names of that afterwards. So just remember the muscle. So we have which muscle? Scalenus anterior muscle, fascia, prevertebral fascia. We have 3 arteries and 1 vein. Which 3 arteries? Vertebral artery, first part of left subclavian artery, and thyrocervical trunk is also branch of an artery only. And 1 vein, which is the vein? Vertebral vein. And 2 nerves, sympathetic trunk and the left phrenic nerve. Okay, now tributaries of thoracic duct. Okay, now to understand that, let's divide the body into 2 parts, that is above the diaphragm and below the diaphragm. Okay, now the thoracic duct actually receives the lymph from both the parts of the body below the diaphragm, that means from both the parts, right and the left part, and above the diaphragm only from the left side. Now if we talk about in particular region in thorax, it receives vessels from the posterior mediastinal node and the superior intercostal node. And the root of neck, it receives efferent vessels from mainly 2 areas, that is the neck and the axilla. From the neck, from left internal jugular, and from the axilla, from left subclavian. Okay, and all this trunk ends up in the thoracic duct at the end. Now the left bronchomediastinal drain lymph from the left thorax and ends in the thoracic duct. And what about the right side? On right side, the right bronchomediastinal, right internal jugular, and the right subclavian drains the right lymphatic trunk and ends in the bronchomediastinal vein at the junction between the internal jugular and the subclavian vein. Okay, now lastly the clinical aspects. Okay, now thoracic duct is very thin and colorless, so it is mostly injured during the surgical process, especially in the posterior mediastinum region. Okay, now chylothorax. What is chylothorax? Laceration of the duct during the long surgical process. So what happens in that? The chyle enters into the pleural cavity. So it causes chylothorax. Now the chylus fistula. This is a photo of chylus fistula. In the cervical region, the thoracic duct may damage during the block dissection process. Now if the surgery is gone well, by the anastomos, the chyle will go back to its place into the thoracic duct. But if not, it will cause chylus fistula to occur. Okay. Now the obstruction of thoracic duct, it is mainly caused by Visceria brandtkopfii name filarial worm infection. Now the effects of it are chylothorax, chylocele, chyloperineum, and chyluria. So this was all about the thoracic duct of the thorax topic. Hope you understood it well.